Diane in Denmark here, rah, rah, rah. I've been really looking forward to getting my pom-poms out again, and I've been really looking forward to starting Bahookie camp. Now, let me just put my pom-poms aside, we'll use those later. What is Bahookie camp? Well, if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that in Scottish, Bahookie is a word for your behind. And, you know, we got to the end of, 2017. And, when you get to the end of the year, you start looking, towards the future. And as I said, we all have little goals or improvements that we want to make. And I promised you that I'd do a little boot camp with you, but we're going to call it Bahookie camp. And we're not going to make huge, we're not going to be doing huge changes every day. We're going to be making little baby step changes, as you know from the Flylady system, as you know from the Getting Things Done system. And all we're doing here is we are giving you an upgrade. We're just making you a better version of yourself. We're going for an upgrade, and it's a new improved version of yourself. We're not going, from one extreme to the other, because if you have been working with me for a long time, you will know that jumping from one thing to the next and trying to make huge changes, that doesn't work. It's the small changes that really give you the most benefit in the long run. So what exactly are we going to do in Bahookie camp? Well, I want to break it down for you. So we'll be working the next few weeks. We'll be making little changes. This first week, what we're going to be working on are our daily routines and what is our weekly focus. Now, if you've been doing Flylady for a while, you already know about that, but we need to tweak things probably. And if you're new to all of this, to the whole system, remember you can always go and do the Flylady's 31 baby steps. Now, I've already made a series for that. I did it 1st of January 2016, and I did it for 31 days in a row. I covered the 31 steps, and I hold your hand through the process. If you haven't done that, it's a great idea to do it. I know I skipped it when I started following Flylady. I thought, oh, I don't know, it's a really good way to start. It's a soft start, and it introduces you to the whole system, so you're not saying, well, what is a 15-minute declutter, and what is a morning routine, and do I need a morning routine? It's all in a playlist up there, and as I said, I walk you through the whole thing. I tell you what the step is for the day, and I give you a bit of my insights into how the system has helped me and what's worked and how to do things. So if you haven't done that yet, go and do that. For those of you who have done the 31 baby steps or have been doing Flylady and Getting Things Done system for a while, we're going to be working together. As I said, this week we're going to be working on routines and daily focus. Now, why am I starting there? Because we're also we're going to be working on the zones in the house. We're going to be attacking the whole house next week. Why am I starting here? Because it all starts with you. Your house and your health. That's all just a symptom of what is going on inside you. So we're going to be starting with ourselves first, which is how we actually run our day, and how we think about things, how we organise our very being. And I wanted to share with you something. Let me just get it. I don't know when you're watching these videos. It could be in the month of August. But it's the 2nd of January 2018 when I'm making this video. And we've just had Danish Nytår, Danish New Year. And one of the traditions from that is watching the Danish Queen's New Year's speech, the address to the nation. And she always, Margrethe, Queen Margrethe, or Daisy as is her nickname, she always makes a good speech, but this year there was something that really struck me. Anyway, I found the English version of, I won't go through the Danish version of her speech, but I'll just quickly read through what it was she said, and this is so pertinent to what we are doing in this Bahookie camp, so listen up. Okay, she says, when there are more possibilities, there are also more choices. And that in principle is a step forward. But we may also lose our bearings when faced with all these possibilities. And it's true, you know, we're faced with all the different things that we can do, and sometimes that can be overwhelming, like we don't know where to start. Where have you heard that before? Flylady system. And then she goes on to say, in a modern family, there are a huge number of tasks to perform, you know, picking up the kids from swimming lessons. And then she says, you know, how do we manage to get it all done? Our day-to-day lives are full of demands that must be met and choices that must be made. It may look as if all doors are open to us, but one person cannot enter all the doors at the same time. I love that. You know, we have all these doors, but you can't go down all of them. We've got to pick a door to go down. That's fantastic, that part. And then she goes on to say, I do not believe it is possible to take an interest in everything. We have to make a choice or choices. And then, this is a fantastic bit. Tonight, I have a small suggestion to make, that we sometimes do something different from what we usually do. Something beyond the practical tasks of everyday life. That we try and do something that is not necessary, something that there is no need for, something pointless. And you may be thinking, why is she asking us to do something that isn't necessary? But hold on, here it comes. It will not be the same thing for everybody. Some prefer going for a walk in the woods or along the beach. Others would rather listen to music or watch a TV series. Personally, this is the Queen, Danish Queen, I prefer doing something with my hands, a piece of needlework, a sketch pad, something with colours. She's very artistic, the Danish Queen. I think it's important to have experience that appeal to our senses, something that inspires our imagination, that stimulates the mind, and that can enlarge our world. That is not so pointless after all. And I thought that was just fantastic, because what a lot of you are coming to Bahookie camp for, a lot of people who, you know, are searching out Flylady, getting things done, they want a solution to the practical things in life. How are we going to get the dishes done? How are we going to get the kids to school on time? How are we not going to forget that I've got, you know, 3 meetings tomorrow? But we forget that it all starts within ourselves, and also just kind of keeping ourselves alive by doing something outside, you know, the plotted in parts of our daily lives. You know, we have our routines, but what we need to build into our routines is also time for you, something different for you to do. It doesn't need to be winter bathing like me. It can be, you know, as the Danish Queen said, she likes to sketch and do needlework. It can be something different. But that's going to be a big part of what we are doing with our routines and our daily focus. So anyway, let's get down to the practical side, because I've been talking for 8 minutes. I also want you to think this week about what it is you want out of this, and what you are prepared to do to get to the end result. Because right now you're probably saying, oh, I'm really tired and I need a new way to do things. And then we start, you know, implementing some small changes, and then we say, well, I'm too tired to do it. We've got to measure these things up and balance these things up. You are tired and overwhelmed right now, or maybe you're just looking for an extra bit of oomph, you know, to your day. When things get tough, or when you don't want to do what we're going to do, you've got to remember that and say, why am I making these changes? For me, it's always been because I don't want to go back to the dark days. You know, I like to move forward. I know when I keep putting one foot in front of the other, that really helps me, because I can always see the light at the end of the tunnel. When I stop putting one foot in front of the other, that is danger zone for me, because then I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And also I want to say here, if you are feeling down, depressed, please, please, you know, talk to somebody or get it checked at the doctor. You know, we all have our days. You know, I've told you before, you've seen it before. I have my days where I get the blahs, especially here in Denmark in the winter when we don't have so much light. You know, it's dark here from 3:30 in the afternoon, 4 o'clock now, and until 8:30 the next morning. So we have long dark days, and that really affects my head. But you know, I've got ways of dealing with it. But the very fact for me of putting one foot in front of the other and dragging myself forward, that helps me to see that there is light at the end of the tunnel. So if you're feeling down, depressed, please get it checked out by the doctor, okay? Because you know, we can do a lot here with our little Bahookie camp and routines, but you may need extra help, all right? So big hugs to you out there, whoever needs one today. Anyway, let's go with the practical stuff. This week, focus on routines, daily routines, and our daily focus. You know, we need a focus to our week. If you have been working with Flylady system before, getting things done systems before, and haven't really implemented things or have been resisting things, just let's jump out and try something new. Okay, because maybe the bits you think, oh, well, I don't need to do that. That was my situation with the Flylady's daily focus. I thought, I don't need that because I work from home. I'm not somebody who... That was a big mistake. So just go with us. So you're not going to need anything really apart from a piece of paper, a notebook. I use one of these spiral notebooks so I can have different sections in it. You may, if you've already been doing 31 baby steps, have put a control journal together. You may have done that a long time ago, maybe it's time to kind of dust it off, give it a shake up, add some new pages, that can do as well. You may use some kind of planner or a calendar. Just make sure that you are going to write these things down. You can also use it, you know, you may be using an app, you maybe want to do it electronically. Whatever it does is just make sure that we are writing it down somewhere, whether it's electronic or old-fashioned style, and getting it checked off. So for today, what I want you to do is take your piece of paper or your app, your bullet journal, whatever you use, and you're going to write down a morning routine and an evening routine. Now, everybody is different. I've got a whole series on working on routines. We did the 7-day routine challenge, and I went through 7 days in a row of what you need to focus on, what you need to adapt, timing of things, not timing of things if you are retired or at home with kids or looking after somebody who's sick. So you can go and revisit that if you need help for it. But if you've been with me before, you know what this is about. So we're going to write down 3 things for our morning routine and 3 things for our evening routine. Now, I'll tell you what mine are just to give you an indication of what it could be. But when I say the 3 things, 3 items here, these are the 3 items that you must get done in order for the rest of your day or evening to flow. So we're not talking a list of 50 items here, we're talking about 3 things. When I first started Flylady, I loved the idea of the getting dressed to shoes, you know, indoor shoes. Here we are, dressed to shoes. But I still now, because that's just how I am, I can get up in the morning, not normally Monday to Friday, not when we're kind of working and the kids are at school and we're into normal routines, but the weekend I can still kind of feel that tug at me when I get out of bed of not wanting to get dressed to shoes first, but you know, starting to, you know, declutter something or work on a project. I still feel that kind of little tug in me, but I have learnt that no, I've got to stick with getting dressed to shoes first, because once I'm dressed to shoes, I work really fast and get things done. So that for me is on my first thing in the morning routine, is getting dressed to shoes. You may be different. Maybe for you, you need to, for example, unload the dishwasher, because unless you unload the dishwasher, you can't get the baby's bottles in, and you know, the dog bowls, whatever it is. So you focus on what it is that you must do, that you always say, oh, I don't want to do it, but that you know makes the day run more smoothly for you. So take just three things. My three things are making the bed, because it really just makes it look like my bedroom is tidy, and it stops me cluttering up the bedroom with other stuff during the day. That's just something for me. Getting dressed to shoes, and the running a load of laundry. That's my three things. If I can do those three things in the morning, everything else happens. In the evening, and my evening routine, as you'll know if you're following me on Instagram, you'll see the picture of the shiny sink every day. My evening routine starts actually during the day, because one of the parts is looking at my outfit for tomorrow. That actually happens during my morning routine, but I must have my outfit for tomorrow before I start cooking dinner. That's just something that must happen for me, because I feel like, oh, already my shoulders can come down at night and I know that I'm ready for the next day. So looking at my outfit for the next day, and shining my sink as soon as we've had dinner. We don't leave the kitchen until everybody helps to put away, you know, a couple of things from the table here and put their things into the dishwasher. Shining my sink. So actually I only have two things that I must have done on my evening routine. I have other things on it, but you know, the main things are, sorry, there is actually one other thing, is setting up the coffee machine for the next day. It's on a timer, you know, I've got a timer on this coffee machine, and that's something I must have done so that when I get up in the morning I can grab my coffee and I'm ready to go. So take a piece of paper or a notebook, and you're going to write down 3 things for the morning and 3 things from the evening. You don't have to go from what it says on the Flylady website. That is a great start, a great inspiration. But you choose 3 things that make a difference for you, and probably the 3 things that you are always putting off. Do you get that? You know the things that you have maybe in your control journal, but you kind of avoid doing those and do all the other things that you like doing. So pick the most difficult things and put those on your list. And then all this week you're going to tick them off. You can comment in any of the videos that I make. It doesn't need to be, you know, even if I'm doing a cleaning video, you can comment that you've done your routines. I don't care, just comment, or you know, phone a friend, put it out on Instagram, you know, do one of those, you get a plane to go across with balloons saying, yeah, I did it. Just check it off and recognize that you have done it. Because it's actually the fact of checking it off, you know, on your app or whatever it is, that it's going to change things for you. Because you all know you can write everything down in a notebook, but unless you check it off, it's not getting done. It's not getting done at all. So that's it for today. I'm not going to make a video over 20 minutes. You know, I hate long videos, and the whole idea is to get off your Bahookie. But tomorrow we will be talking about our focus as we go through the week. So for today, you write down your 3 morning items, your 3 evening items, and the last thing that you're going to put on this list is you are going to put on 15 minutes for you. Remember what Daisy, Queen Margrethe said, we want to have something that is going to be stimulating, apart from all these routines, that is just going to stimulate you in other ways. So, and if you can write that down on your list, 15 minutes for yourself. And I want you also, when you write down that 15 minutes for yourself, just come up with 3 suggestions for yourself of what that can be. Now, because if I say to you, take 15 minutes for yourself, you won't know what to do when you get to that point on your list. Write something down, three ideas, and that can be, for me, I need to do my nails, so that will be my 15 minutes for today. You can write down 15 minutes of, let me just grab my book, 15 minutes of reading a book, or you know, a couple of chapters. Maybe you got a new book for Christmas. I'm loving this one. It could be 15 minutes of, you know, just putting on some hand cream at night once you've, you know, done the dishes, and put on some hand cream or foot cream and just sit. So make sure that you write down 15 minutes and then just add in a few suggestions for yourself, so that when you get to that point, you're not kind of, what do I do? You've got some suggestions there. Now, I've also given you plenty of pamper suggestions. We did a virtual, do you remember we did that 5 days where we went on a virtual retreat? I'll put a link to that as well, because you all chimed in with fantastic ideas of what you were doing to look after yourself, so you can take a look there. Anyway, right, now I'm at 20 minutes, so that is it for today. We're doing our routines. We're doing them from now on for the rest of the month. No excuses. I'll talk about excuses tomorrow. And just have a great day out there. So anyway, Diane in Denmark, live long and prosper. I'm going to make myself a nice coffee, and I hope you have a very prosperous new year. Okay, let's do this. And if you don't have any pom-poms yet, you might want to go out and buy a pair this week. Okay, rah, 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 go us. Okay, see you soon for next installment of Bahookie Camp.